Good afternoon and welcome to Monday on Bad Dog Comedy TV, live on YouTube and Ayaka's Kitchen. Now, please welcome your host, Ayaka.
Hi everybody! Last week, it was an European hearing, and it was something to do with Jewish culture, so it was like, Ayaka, Hanukkah, Ayaka, Hanukkah, Ayaka, Hanukkah, Ayaka, Hanukkah. But today, it's going to be a Jamaican meal, so it's going to be Booyaka, Ayaka, Booyaka, Ayaka, Booyaka, Ayaka. That's my new song. I don't have anything else to say today, so I'm gonna just sit here. I'm kidding. I'm done. Bye-bye. Toasties, say bye-bye to you. Bye-bye. Booyaka, Ayaka, Booyaka, Ayaka. Hello. I think the toast was making fun of my name. It's always a fight between Toast and myself, but it's okay. I survived. Hi, I'm Ayaka. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you again, even though I cannot see you, but you can see me. So I'm really excited about today's episode because it's with my great friend, and also the food is sitting here and it's smelling so nice and I can't wait to have it. I haven't tried it yet and I can't wait to have this. So I'm super excited already. So let's just get into it. So I'm going to introduce you, PHATT.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, and my name's spelled right. Capital P, capital A, capital A, capital T, capital T, lowercase a-l. It's an acronym for people having a terrific time always.
Always. Yeah, I think I had that probably like 300 times doing shows together.
Yeah.
And yeah, it makes everybody happy. Your name makes everybody happy. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, today I have you and we're gonna have a party. So is that correct? The toast was saying like Booyaka, Ayaka. Is that like something to do with Jamaica?
Yes. Normally if you are at a party and a DJ puts on like a hot track and you're like, oh, this is my song, you're like, Booyaka, Booyaka, Booyaka. It literally is a gunshot. But a fun gunshot, right? It's your fingers. So the air horn is like the, like when we improvise a gun, so it's not actually deadly, it's fun. Yeah, fun gun.
Yeah, it's like
If you can roll the R with the brap, brap, booyah, brap. If you can do that, you are like halfway Jamaican right off the bat. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm learning so much. Everybody, PHATT is an amazing rapper as well as actor, comedian, artist. You do everything. Who are you? Yeah, tell us who you are.
Well, I'm an MC, which stands for mic controller as a rapper in hip hop language. But I started doing that, and then through MCing and meeting different musicians and such, especially in Toronto, especially during like the early 2000s. Toronto was like a really vibrant music city. So many places, that live venues and such. So I would go out and I would just meet a lot of other musicians and such. So kind of like how, if anybody remembers that The Roots is actually a hip hop band. I started formulating a lot of different hip hop bands in Toronto and such. There were Quarter Tones, the DOM, and then I joined with God Made Me Funky. And so through my association there, I ended up in Vancouver with a band called Len, and they had a big tune. I joined them right after their big tune blew up. If You Steal My Sunshine. I wasn't in that video, but I came in like right after that video.
I know that song.
You should. It's one of the biggest one-hit wonders Canada's ever produced. Very fun summer song. Learned a lot with them, and then ended up moving to LA with my mentor at the time, Divine Styler, and going back to LA and then going to New York, coming back to Toronto with my band God Made Me Funky. And through that, I was kind of like introduced to improv at Second City because I drive by Second City all the time, and people were like, "Man, you should do some improv," and I'm like, "I don't even know what that is," but I know what Second City is based on the TV show and such. So I went in and was like, "What is improv?" And they told me it was like working without a script. It's comedy without a script. I'm like, "Oh, so it's like freestyling?" And they're like, "Yeah, basically comedians freestyling." And I was like, "Sign me up." So from there, kind of this weird flex happened that I ended up like becoming an actor, and through that becoming like a voice actor. I'm the voice of Eggo Waffles in Canada.
Yes.
Right now. How do you like their Eggo Waffles? I get paid for that. Then I started taking classes at Second City, moved up through the different companies that they have there, where I met you, and we worked. Actually, I think it was my first show, which was Edco.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so that was a couple of years ago. Went through all the different companies, got onto the main stage, did that there. At the same time, I've never stopped making music, writing music, putting music out with various artists and such. And so it's this weird conflagration as the internet has gotten like more and more prevalent, and the barriers to entry of putting your own music out and being independent have become less and less. And now you can basically do whatever you want in terms of an artist, acting, singing, rapping, dancing, all that. You can start your own YouTube channel like Bad Dog TV, and you're open to the world. So it's been a journey getting here, but it's like all of the things I've learned along the way have become completely relevant because I can incorporate them into being an independent artist and knowing, like, if I want to make a music video, I've made several. I know how to do that. If I want to make a comedy sketch, I know how to do that. If I want to jump onto an improv show, I can do that. Especially like now with the lockdown, it's been like, wow, everything is virtual, and in a weird way, I've been like gearing my life toward the point of the virtual world meeting me, coming to where I live. So
yes,
that's what I'm doing.
Oh, I always thought you was like, you inspire me so much because like I'm the same way. I start doing music, I started doing this, like all the things, and I admire you so much. Thank you so much for being you. It's awesome. And before you became musician, growing up in Jamaican household, how was that? Like, who are you as Jamaican?
Well, the thing is, so here's a funny thing, and this is for the international viewers. I'm gonna say this, but I want to preface it by saying I love being Canadian. Right? I was born here. I've traveled around the world. Every time I come back to Canada, I am in awe of how amazing this country is and the privilege that we have here, But the weird thing about Canada is it's a mosaic as opposed to a melting pot. So, for example, all of my cousins and friends in the States who are born in the States are American. Forget about it. Don't even ask them about anything else. Where are you from? Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
Anybody from New York, they name their borough. That's where they're from. That's what they're. In Canada, when you state who you are and where you're from, I'm Canadian. I'm Fat Al, I'm Canadian. Then it's asked, well, where are your parents from? So you're like a Canadian, but you are from where your parents or your grandparents, they'll go back 5-6 generations. I've tested it. And so I'm Canadian, but I'm also Jamaican. And the fact of the matter is I'm 1000% okay with that because I was raised in a Jamaican household. I was raised by Jamaican women. And for me, it was like being raised on Themyscira. Okay. It was being like raised by like Wonder Woman and all the Amazons. Like I never grew up looking at women as less than like my heroes, right? As less than like very strong influences in my life. So I feel very blessed and very lucky to have had such strong, like my mother, my grandmother, my sisters, like my aunts. Everybody is so powerful to me. And in my memories of growing up, somebody be like, I'm gonna go get my big brother to beat you up. I'd be like, I'm getting my sister to come beat you up. Right? Like, when I call my sister, she'd be like, who, what, where is he? Right?
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I never had an experience outside of like being around very strong Jamaican women. And then when we go to Jamaica, I'm lucky in that my mother never suppressed me learning to speak Jamaican and such. There's a lot of people who come from like the islands and such, and when they come here, they feel almost ashamed to have like a Caribbean accent and such.
Really?
Yeah, it's the integration, right? You've come here and you're like, well, I'm in Canada now, so I gotta speak Canadian, right? Whatever that means, right? So I the more I can kind of distance myself from being seen as a foreigner or other, then the more I can move forward and almost not be seen. But my mother, my mother's not like that. My mother's like, I'm Jamaican, and my kids
I love it.
Jamaican, right? So as I was growing up in our household, I speak Jamaican. So if you ever hear me speaking to like anybody in my family, I switch into patois really quick and say, "Yo, mommy, where you cook, man? Yeah, it smells so good. Lord God, me feel some of that curry goat, but it tastes nice, right?" So it's always very funny. Growing up when I was in school, everybody hear me speak and be like, "Oh yeah," and then I'd go home and they'd almost be looking at me like, "What? What? You speak the language of Bob Marley?" Yeah.
I've never heard you speak like that before.
Oh, you haven't been to my house. You got to come over and watch us play a game of Ludi, which is a Jamaican game that's in the tradition of sorry or trouble, and watch us lose our minds trying to land on each other in those games, and then you die, right? Your character goes back to the beginning. But in like Caribbean culture, whenever you're playing a game, it is not a game. Okay, it's serious. What we got serious business. So if you ever see people from the Caribbean or even Africa playing dice or cards, like dominoes, forget about dominoes. If you've ever seen the domino, boom, they hit the table, the whole like table goes flying and everything. And it's serious. Like you play to win. So growing up when I was a kid, me, my little brother, my sister, we'd play with my mom. And when my mom landed on you, she didn't just like land on you and be like, "Okay, go back to the beginning." She'd flick your man off the board and be like, "Boom, you're dead." Right?
Whoa, serious?
And like no mercy, none. So I kind of grew up like, oh my goodness, like when I play a game or when I put my mind to something, it's serious. And when you're a kid, you're like, you're the meanest person in the world. But when you're an adult, you're like, wow, you really prepared me for like when I have to like commit to something, don't go in half-ass. Like go for it like I'm playing Ludi. So it's a weird thing that has kept me like very strong in being an independent person. And even if I'm in like a corporate structure or something like that, I'm very, very determined to keep my identity. Yeah. So because I know who I am. So it's never been a thing of me feeling like, oh, geez. And if I'm ever in a situation where I feel out of place, I always remember those moments in my life when I was growing up, and it was like I'm this person, you know, I can get really serious with myself and get things done, and I don't have to worry about people's approval. So it helped me in that, but I'll tell you, as a kid, that was rough.
Well, that really shows how much like talent you have in like so many different like categories almost, and like you just commit to it like 100%, 100%, and then like you become expert in everything. That shows. That's amazing. Yeah. Your mom taught you with the game.
I tell you, like we like growing up, it really was like the life lessons that you have to learn. As a Black child, you know what I mean? We in North America, you have to learn how to carry yourself. You have to learn how to be very mindful of your surroundings, but also you have to also learn like there are people who are afraid of you based on their own whatever they have going on, right? Whether it's racism, hang-ups, whatever it is, and you can't allow that to dictate how you carry yourself. And so that was a very important lesson that my mother instilled in me, very quickly because I went from being very skinny to very big. Right?
Really?
Yeah. Before age 12, people were like, you've got to eat, you've got to eat, you've got to eat. After age 12, people were like, stop eating, stop, right? So it's just like, I did what you told me and now leave me alone. So but at the same time, I was getting to be like a big, physically big black.
Yeah, you're big.
Yeah, right. And so, and also like I have a very loud Jamaican mouth, right? So for me, I'm not big and loud, I'm just Fat Al. But I didn't realize that could be like some people just immediately be frightened. And so at that point, I started to get into my own head and be like, oh, well, maybe I should, Jamaicans call it smalling up yourself, right? When you go, they mean it like this. When you go somewhere, like if I came to your house, I don't just come and start looking in your fridge and like, hey, what's on TV and put my feet up. You small up yourself. So you're polite, right? You're very polite when you go somewhere. But I started to internalize a lot of that. And it started to turn into like me becoming small as a person. And my mother was like, you can't go through life like that. Other people's fears, you don't have to exacerbate them, make them worse. But you can't allow those people's fears to dictate who you are any more than you can allow somebody to tell you you're not Canadian because, but your parents are Jamaican. You have to be who you are. And at the end of the day, like if they're afraid of a big black man, be the biggest black man that you can and show them that they don't have to be afraid. So it was something that I learned young while she was pummeling me in the game of Ludi.
Oh man, I'm already crying. It's like it's beautiful. It's beautiful, but that's true. Like I noticed, like when you're on stage, you own the stage. You're big in every sense. And like when you come over to my place or whatever, like like you're so polite, and then like you're so polite. I know that side of you, and I know that side of you. So like, that really explains everything. That's amazing. And then today you are introducing me to this Jamaican food that I'm holding. So tell me a little bit about it.
Okay, so this is curry goat with rice and peas. Okay, so curry goat is it's a staple in the West Indies, and it comes from India and Africa because a lot of slaves came from those places in India and Africa, and then were brought to the West Indies. And the food was basically like what was left over, right? It was kind of like rice that you had, and then what food left over? Goat, right? You didn't have a lot of options in terms of getting like chicken all the time per se, or beef, or you know what I mean? So we take the goat and season it up the best way that they knew how, which was to mix it with curry. And then rice and peas are a very staple Caribbean side dish, right? Rice and peas. So you'll usually have like your curry chicken or your curry goat or your oxtail with some rice and peas to help soak up the gravy.
Yeah, goat is, I think, one of the most common meat that's consumed all over the world, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's weird because it's really poor people who were eating goat, right? The aristocrats wouldn't deign to eat goat, but like poor people take shit and they flip it, right? And then it's like, oh, this is really good. Now it's a delicacy. Now So my mom was just making oxtail the other day, and we just realized how much oxtail costs. And it's like, this was food that they threw away. Right? They didn't used to eat the tail of the ox. It was like considered gauche. And now it's going to go get them oxtails. Like, how much? Oh my goodness. So
do you think that's same in Jamaica, or like because you're in Canada?
No, all over the world. Because it's consumed so much more now, right? So like oxtails eaten all over the world now too. So it's one of those weird things where it's like, food that that was considered throwaway food, 200 years ago is now like everybody is like, yeah, I got to get my hands on my hands.
I think lobster from East Coast Canada is the same thing. I know someone from like Nova Scotia. He's in his 60s, 70s. He said when he was young, like lobster was the thing like no one wanted to have, so we have to have it because I didn't grow up in a rich household, and now lobster, yes, please, like everyone's like, that's funny. And you have beans. Is that what kind of beans is red?
Red beans with the rice.
And you always have red beans with rice. Is there a reason, or it's also seasoned? So what is it?
Yeah. So I mean, you can have like white rice, but usually whenever you're eating a dish from the West Indies, it's gonna be heavily seasoned, right? Like we can't eat bland food and enjoy it. We just like I would say that's probably the biggest difference between Canada and like West Indian cooking is that we season the hell out of everything. Now I will also let you know that I am the white sheep of my family because I cannot eat like hot spicy food.
Oh really? Isn't this spicy?
Yes, but normally I'll be like non-spicy for me, and then everybody looks at me like.
But probably Jamaican spicy is like way too spicy for me, and then like I'm like, oh, I like spicy food, but probably you can have the same, maybe.
It's not Tabasco sauce. They I mean, one of the things that Jamaicans cook with is called Scotch bonnet pepper.
Yeah.
Woo-wee! That
okay, they gave me some kind of sauce. Do you think that's what this is?
Probably got some Scotch bonnet pepper.
Okay, I have to try that.
Yeah. So I mean, I personally, I'm like, I can't really handle spice. I never could, and it would be the biggest joke in when I go to Jamaica because my grandmother would make food and she, and then be like, I made you this, eat, and I'd be like, ooh, too hot. Oh, it's too. Ooh. And my grandmother like, it's not hot. It's I cooled it down for you. And then my mom would be like, no, it means that it's too spicy. And my grandmother would look at me like, too spicy? So to her was like, that doesn't compute. I just put bonnet pepper in it. How could that be too spicy? So although very loved, I was the consternation to my grandmother in Jamaica because she constantly wanted to cook for me, and I was like, do we have any macaroni and cheese? And they would just look at me like, what's macaroni? Like they didn't know what that was, right? And then my mother would explain it, and they'd be looking at me like, he wants that over this deliciously cooked and spiced food. What's wrong with him? Right?
Scotch bonnet has so much flavor though. Like it's not just like think of like regular like chili pepper. It has like so much taste. It
enhances, and like everybody else in my family is just dousing the food. Dousing it, like the little kids. I remember being in Jamaica, and my cousin was like 3 years old, and just peppering, like it was like, oh, is that a lollipop? Just put some pepper on it. Like
3 years old.
And me, I was like, oh, my lip touched some of the pepper. Please, get me some help. So yeah. That's one of the things of like when we go back to Jamaica, we're called foreign kids, right? So they said kids come from foreign. And at the time, everybody thought like Canada and the US were basically the same. So I'd go there and they'd be like, "It's a Yankee boy, come, little Yankee boy, man. Yeah, man, the foreign boy." And then when they would hear us speak, they would be like, him talk like a white man. So it'd be quite hilarious hearing me and my little brother just like they're speaking and have a crowd of Jamaican people coming around us and go, "Where them come from? Oh, them so and so. Them come from foreign. Lord, listen to them. Come here, look up. Say something. So we would be downtown just saying like, hi.
Wow. That's not Kingston, is it?
In Kingston.
In Kingston. Oh but isn't it like a huge city? Like
Kingston is a really big city, but and tourism is gigantic in Jamaica.
Yeah.
But when we'd go to Jamaica, we didn't go as tourists. So everybody thought, oh, we're obviously Jamaican kids. And then they would hear, like, I remember me and my little brother were on the bus. And on the bus in Kingston, you'd have kids come on and sell like peanuts and peanut brittle and shrimps and stuff. And so I still clearly remember being on the bus and saying to my mother, like, Mom, can we get some peanuts? Oh my goodness, oh my gosh, some peanuts and some peanut brittle. And then a woman looking back and saying, wait, where him come from? England? Right? And my mother's like, no, they're from Canada. Oh my gosh, listen how him said peanut. I see him said like peanut. What? And then she's tapping her friend like, listen to him talk. Say peanut again. And I'm turning around like, who are you? What do you want? I'm not supposed to talk to strangers. And then my mother looking at me like, just go ahead, right? Like this woman's gonna cause a scene if you don't say peanut. So I'd be like, peanut. And look how him talk. Everybody, the whole bus. I remember at one point there was about at least 8 adults like leaning over the seat to me and my brother and being like, say something, right? Say something in the Canadian English. It's crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was pretty wild.
So were they like nice in a way or like insulting? Like they're just amazed?
You know what? It was like all of a sudden these adults were listening to us say nothing. It was almost like a celebrity, like a weird celebrity.
Oh.
I didn't realize at the time that was based on the fact that, okay, like I'm in Jamaica, which is a very poor country, and what they're like celebrating is like, wow, you left and made something of yourself essentially, and it came back, and you're in society, and it's kind of like, hey, here are the fruits of leaving. So in a weird way, it was like me being like, haha, I'm privileged, right? Like, listen to that way of speaking. Not realizing that as a kid, I'm just like, adults are listening to me and my little brother say the word peanut. This is pretty cool. So peanut, right? Peanut. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. When was the last time you were there?
The last time I was in Jamaica was probably about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Quite some time. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, do you miss it?
You know what? I do and I don't. What I do miss about it is seeing my family. I don't.
Yeah, of course.
That often. I also cannot handle extremely hot climates.
Who are you? You can't handle hot food, hot climate.
I'm Jamaican, but with a huge asterisk beside it, right? Because when I'm in like tropical climates, I immediately break out into what they call a heat rash. It's like goosebumps come all over my skin. Yeah, I'm extremely itchy, and the only cure is calamine lotion, which means I've got to like put this like pink lotion all over me, like I'm walking around in white face. It's ridiculous. So I have pictures of when I was a kid, and it's just like my skin is all pink from the calamine lotion that they had to rub on me every single morning. And again, to the consternation of my grandmother's like, the sun is doing this to him? I don't understand. He's Jamaican. We love the sun. The sun is like what gives us life. What's wrong with him? So although my grandmother loved me, I know she was like, I love him, but the kid ain't right.
It's already my grandson. That's funny. Well, while we were talking, I just made the sushi, so I'll show you. It goes like this.
Looks delicious.
Yes.
Wow.
Curry goat roll.
You gotta Instagram that.
Yeah. I can't wait. I actually put the rice in there as well. So rice on rice. And yeah, that's the hot sauce. I believe it's a hot sauce. Let me try the hot sauce just a little bit to see like if I can handle it. Oh.
That's probably like a medium hot sauce too. I'm sure that's not like the hot sauce. Yeah.
Really? Woo!
Yes. Welcome to Jamaica, Ayaka.
Yeah. Wow, that's hot. But you know, I have to do it. I will put a little bit, and I'll taste it. Oh, before that, actually, we should tell everybody where this is from. It's called curry. So it's from Ali's West Indian Roti Shop on Queen West in Toronto, and that was really nice. The person there was like so nice and like excited. Yeah. Yeah, it's very good. So I'm gonna try it, and I usually have drum roll while I eat because I don't want anyone to hear my chewing noise. But you know what? But today you can either roll R. Oh my god, my tongue is burning right now. Oh, well, okay. So today instead of
send some ice.
Actually, I bought some ice cream from there because they had mango and coconut and soursop ice cream, and I was like, I have to try that. So
it cuts the burning, so that's good.
Yes, I'll do that later. Soursop ice cream I've never tried, so yeah, I'm excited. But yeah, usually I have drum rolls, but you either roll R or like freestyle something about dog curry while I chew.
All right.
Let's do
it. Listen. Watch while Ayaka be eating in the kitchen. Everybody come around not eating the fish. It is the pure curry goat. You might happy float. You don't understand this is not written or wrote. Every time me grab up on the mic, me get down. Them look up at me saying that Father is not a clown. Me go around the world, but me still homeward bound. Homeward bound, that mean Toronto. When me get on the plane, me say take me there pronto. Them not ready yet. When me walk in at your house, me stay delicate with etiquette. Small up myself, but big up my vice. Everybody know that Fatala is the choice. We can't come back. We can't go away. Every time you see me on the mic, it's like, hey!
Wow! You are a pro. Oh my god. Well, this was so good. But my mouth is burning. It's very spicy. And I'm starting to sweat.
You've turned this into an episode of Hot Wings with curry goat.
Oh wow, this is a spicy hot sauce. And I don't know. I think the curry goat tastes good. I'm sure it does, but only what I taste is the hot sauce. The only I think I need water.
Now you're yeah, and imagine going and you're eating and it's like little kids are just eating it and going like, what's his problem? This is delicious. It's not hot enough. More spice, please. Yeah.
Wow, this is spicy, but it's good. It's again like it's not like just the red chili spicy. It's like a taste so much like fragrance and taste flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also have runny nose, so hot sauce does that to you.
The Scotch bonnet. Fight you, Ayaka. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
This is good. I have to try it without hot sauce at some point. I think I have to wait for like, I don't know, 10 minutes until like this whole, it's a sensation. Like, my tongue. Yeah, but it's good. And I can't wait to have those ice cream.
So what's up?
Yeah. Wow. Well, very, very tasty. I'm going to go back there. It's only 11-minute walk from me. I have to go back. Yeah, so lucky.
And then open up the Pandora's box. Ali's going to see you every week.
Ali's like, Ayaka. Bye. Yeah. Oh, so good. Success, Al.
Good. Well, I've never seen a curry goat roti before. You might want to patent that because in Toronto, that fusion might be, I mean, in about 5 years, we were saying like, all of a sudden the curry goat, the oxtail costs so much. Curry goat roti might be like on every menu, and it'll be like, wait, that was first made in Ayaka's Kitchen. So you
Curry goat sushi. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I said roti. Curry goat sushi. Yes. Mix curry goat sushi, and then maybe put it in a roti. Oh my God. Ooh.
But after this, put this in roti.
Oh. Watch out.
Watch out. Wow, that could happen. Like Toronto, there's so many restaurants that's like fusion food. I don't think I have ever heard like Jamaican Japanese fusion.
Really?
But it's funny. Jamaica and Japan, I think it's the alphabetical order. I think it's next to each other. So like every time like I see like Japanese flag on emoji, I see Jamaican flag.
And you know what? The funny thing is like whenever people come from anywhere else in the world and come into Jamaica, and you're Jamaican, it's always interesting. When I was a kid going to Jamaica, because I always thought, it's just black people in Jamaica, but every race is in Jamaica, but everybody speaking Jamaican. And it used to always make me be like, wow, this is so cool seeing like Japanese people speak Jamaican, and like Chinese people speak Jamaican, and East Indian people speak Jamaican. And like it was just like amazing to me to go there and be like, everybody's white people speaking Jamaican. I remember the first time I can recall a white person speaking Jamaican. It was a little white girl in my grandmother's neighborhood. Her name was Bubbles.
Bubbles.
And they said, see Bubbles over there. Bubbles, where I said? And she was like, move on, go ahead. She was about 5, and I was like, she just totally spoke Jamaican. And I was just fascinated by her. Like my mother still reminds me, like the time we went to Jamaica and I wouldn't leave Bubbles alone. It was just me walking around going like, you say peanut. Wow. Blow my mind here, Bubbles. Blow my mind. So there you go.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, I feel like I have to go there one day. I love Jamaican food. I love reggae, and now I have to go there.
And go roll some curry goat sushi on the beach. I think you'd be a hit.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm gonna make a business in Jamaica. Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you so much. It was a great success, and I'm gonna keep eating this. So yeah, I'm gonna say thank you to Seann. Thank you, Seann. Thank you. And yeah, Seann's behind this whole thing, doing all the tech and sound and everything.
Even
And
yeah, braps, leveled.
Yes, exactly. And then here's a donation link, baddogtheater.com/Ayaka's-kitchen. And yeah, Bad Dog is doing so much for the comedy community and to all over the world now because it's online and everyone can watch it from everywhere. Yeah. So yeah, let's support Bad Dog Theater and keep those shows running. And yeah, I'm so happy that I see you here and eating this and hearing all your stories. And I'm sure you have so much more to tell. So yeah, hopefully I can visit you and your mom and have oxtail at some point. Yeah,
so have me back.
Yeah. yes. Maybe next one is gonna be oxtail. Yeah, anytime. Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna keep eating. So you have a great day, and thank you everybody for watching. And yeah, peace. How do you say peace out in Jamaica?
Later.